Hi, Bulldogs. My gosh, we are getting down to the last couple weeks here of officially of our school year and our continuous learning plan. And, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, it seems like the month of April just zoomed by. Like, I barely remember it even happening. And so I'm sitting here and I'm kind of thinking about, obviously we're planning for next year, but part of planning for next year is reflecting on this year and how things have gone and what the school year's been like and how we've worked with kids and all of that. And it really got me kind of sad because I know that so many of us miss all of you so much. Our teachers, our administrators, Mrs. Byer, me, our custodial staff, our paras, our cafeteria workers, we all miss our kids so much, and we are hurting because we don't have that closure to the end of the school year that we typically do. And so, I've heard from other teachers and staff as well that they kind of feel the same way, that it's hard because we feel like we've missed out on all the fun stuff that happens at the end of the school year and just that opportunity to say goodbye and wish you guys a good summer and an awesome next school year. And in thinking about that, it kind of brings me to the topic that I wanted to talk about today, and that's loss. And, there are all different kinds of loss that people go through. It's not just, maybe losing someone you care about, although that is obviously a very big loss that many of us experience or have experienced already. But there are so many different kinds of loss, and for a lot of us, I think even as students, we have a feeling of loss regarding the end of the school year, whether it's because you're an eighth grader and you're not going to get to say goodbye to your middle school years in the way that you normally do, or just because, maybe you're a sixth grader and it was your first year and it just got cut short, and we don't have that opportunity to say goodbye and to, have the fun experiences and the field trips that come fourth quarter and that kind of thing. So that's, a sense of loss that we're all experiencing. But there's other kinds of loss too. There's the loss of a loved one. There's a loss of a pet, a family pet. There's, the loss of even sometimes what we feel is a loss of our independence in this time of physical distancing where, I don't have the opportunity to go out and do the things I would normally do. I know I've talked before about, because of my asthma, I am staying home. And so sometimes it can be really hard thinking, I just wish I could go to the grocery store. I just wish I could go to Target and look around and shop a little bit and, do those things that I've always done before. And so there's a sense of loss there in just being able to do what we normally do. There's, and there are, there are other kinds of losses that we all experience at some point in our life. And obviously a big one is a loss of someone that we care about. And our community has been experiencing that lately too, which is really hard. And again, that's been on my mind this week because if we were in a normal time, we'd be at school and I would be, reaching out to those students physically even. How are you doing? Are you okay? What can we do for you? To check in, and now everything's done virtually. So there's a sense of loss too on our part that we aren't able to interact with our kids in the same way that we've always done, to help you guys go through the loss that you might be experiencing. So one thing that I know for me, and loss is very personal, but there's oftentimes that when we work with kids, we see a lot of sometimes anger, fear, frustration. That is how kind of that loss looks in students. Sometimes we don't see anything. Sometimes kids and adults act and look like everything's okay. And any of those responses to loss are normal and okay. Anything you're feeling because of that sense of loss is okay. It's okay to be angry because you didn't get the end of the school year that you wanted. It's okay to feel frustrated or sad because you lost your pet or you lost the beloved family member. It's okay to have those feelings. And I think that's the biggest thing is sometimes we think that what we're feeling isn't okay. And that's just not true. Sometimes the choices that we make in response to those feelings aren't always the best choices, but the feelings themselves are okay. And there are good ways to respond to those feelings and good things that we can do to help get through some of that loss. So, me personally, I'm just going to share some things that I do when I'm feeling that sense of loss because it helps me. And maybe some of it'll help you. One thing that I do a lot is writing. And that may take different forms. Sometimes it's just a journal entry where I'm writing about my feelings. I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling angry because this or that happened. Sometimes it's writing a letter. Maybe it's writing a letter to that person that I lost, telling them what I miss about them, telling them what I've always loved or admired about them. I know that that person isn't going to get that letter, but it helps me to write it and put it into words, and then I can fold it up and put it in an envelope and stick it in a favorite book or a photo album or something that, when I need it, I can pull it out and look at it again and think, yeah, these were those awesome memories that I loved about this person. One actual example that I've shared with students in the past is with a family member that I lost, one of my favorite uncles. He's been gone now for about 14 years, but every year, right around the time of year that he died, I get some hot chocolate and a package of Oreos, and I sit down and I dunk my Oreos in my hot chocolate. The reason why I do this is because when I was very young, when I was about 5th grade, I spent about a week with my aunt and uncle when my parents were out of town, and I was very sad, missing my mom a lot. It was crying. It was not a pleasant picture, and my uncle and my aunt made some hot chocolate, and my uncle sat me down with his favorite treat, which were Oreos, and he taught me how to dunk my Oreos in hot chocolate. And I had never done that before. I always thought Oreos went with milk. And he just kind of blew my mind with this concept. And so now that's how I celebrate him, how I honor his memory every year around that time. I sit down with my Oreos and my hot chocolate, and I have a little dunk toast to my uncle. And my daughter does that now with me every year. And it's just a way to remember all the wonderful things about him and to hold that memory close. So I think those are great things. Writing and finding ways to hold those memories and honor those memories or those traditions of that person, Other sense of losses, though, that we feel, again, obviously talking to other people is great, to kind of talk about our feelings, what we're doing, how we're feeling, all of that. The writing is great in any kind of way, to talk about that sense of loss. And then anything that you're doing just to take care of yourself and to help yourself relax, whether that's getting exercise, going for walks, playing basketball, riding your bike, whether that's doing virtual, FaceTimes or Zoom contacts with friends or family members, just as a way to stay connected and to feel like I'm not alone in this. Those are all really positive. So what I'd like you to do is to try to challenge yourself this week. Every day, find a way to practice that self-care or think about, process, and deal with a sense of loss that you're feeling. reach out to someone that you think might be feeling a loss or feeling alone or scared or isolated, and try to help them feel connected as well. As always, Mrs. Byer and I are here for you. If there's something that you need, something that we can do to help you, please email us. We miss you a lot, and we want to stay connected with you. And we hope that you know that we're here for you. So please reach out. We care, we love you, and we miss you. And we're grieving this end of year that we're missing with you too. So, Bulldogs, stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected to each other and to us, and we'll talk to you again soon.